Hi, I'm Mark, and welcome to my shop. Today I'm going to take a break from fiddly little brass bits for the beam engine project and do a couple of tool enhancements, because I don't always make tools, but it seems like making tools for the tools to make more tools is the name of the game. So the first up, maybe the only thing today, we'll see how fast I go, is I'm calling it a tilt bar. It's probably got another name. A milling pallet, of which I have used before on the stream. It's basically I've machined a piece of aluminum. It's all nice and flat. It's square, so it has these notches so I can clamp it in the square in my milling vise. And then I've got a whole bunch, like 36 of them, M6 holes in there, and it also has holes so I can clamp it to the rotary table. So we can put that on, clamp little flat bits on there, and spin it around or otherwise mill it. What I can't do is set it on an angle, or at least not easily. I could theoretically clamp it directly in the vise, but that's kind of sketchy. So, or not as slick. So the cunning plan is to take another piece of aluminum, fairly big, and essentially mill a notch out of it so that I can bolt this on. Then we clamp the round bit in the vise and we can dial in an angle. And you'd use that if you wanted to put a bevel on something. So we set it like this and we can mill off, which will be come up in the next project, which is I'm fixing to make a finger plate. Oh, speaking of which, I should start my bandsaw. I had it set up for lunch to cut the second side, and I forgot to start it. And it will take a while, because that's a half-inch piece of steel. And I'm stopping talking long enough to make sure that the saw sound is not coming through. Anyway, the precision illustration is, there's the bar, there's the pallet, there's the bar, jaw vices, rendered in detail. Anyway, so just to make it all nice, I'm going to clean the thing up, that round bar up on the lathe to start. So let's get over to the lathe and start setting up. And I have not managed to headbutt the camera. Good. As you can see, we're currently looking at the collet chuck, which is not what we want for this. So I will get out my spindle lock so that I can use the Tommy bar in the little holes to unscrew it. And I just stick that in there, give it a crank. I might have been able to do that by hand. But then if you grab the gears, you get them all oily, hands all oily. All right, stick that in there. And we're going to stick our 4-jaw chuck on here. So the thing I'm hoping is I can get the jaws far enough open so I don't have to turn it around the other way, because that would be kind of sad making. Now, it's basically a whole bunch of turning the key. All right, so I can put the Tommy bar away for now, and I need to find my chuck key. All right, you see we still have our copper pipe-based soft jaws in there, which are appropriate here because the aluminum is also soft, and the steel jaws of the chuck are not. So I am going to just tentatively clamp it in here. The last thing we had in here was, in fact, another a piece that came off of this. When I bored a second end on my die holder. So hopefully it's not too far off, because the next job is to center up This is a independent jaws, so you can move them around, which is good because you can do offset turning. You can clamp square things or odd shaped things. It's not so good for speed because it you have to actually set an indicator on there to center it. And we do not want the boring bar, so we will take that off. And the last thing we turned was a chamfer on the inside, so our top slide was set over at a mild angle. Just put it back. I don't actually use the top slide for sort of just turning adjustments because I have a digital readout, but